Hi everyone, Amanda Harry here in the WVLT newsroom. We've had a lot of questions about a guilty plea in a babysitter's case that happened this morning. We're going to get to that, try and explain some of that for you in just a moment. But first, I want you to take a look behind me. This is Elijah and Alyssa Orejuela. They are the twin toddlers who drowned in 2018 at a pool operated by Jennifer Sally at a daycare that she owned and operated in Knox County at that time. We later learned from DHS in the months following their deaths that she was operating an illegal daycare, and we'll get to that in just a moment. But first, Jennifer Sally showed up in court today. She was originally scheduled for trial in a couple weeks, but struck some sort of plea agreement with the district attorney's office. Essentially showed up in court today and pled guilty to 2 counts of felony criminal negligent homicide, one for each of the twins, one for Alyssa, one for Elijah. And the family had a victim impact statement that was read by their attorney in court this morning, and it sheds a little light on how this sentence came to be what it is. A couple important pieces of the sentence include the fact that Jennifer Sally will be placed on the DCS Severe Abuse Registry forever. The other key component to this sentence is that she will never be allowed to care for children in any capacity for the rest of her life. Essentially, the parents felt like whatever they could do to protect other children from Jennifer Sally was the best way to proceed forward in sentencing. They felt like if they could lock in those 2 stipulations in her sentence, that they would be doing a far greater service to the rest of the community and really children all over the country than they would if they had just gone for prison sentence or time in jail. So essentially, Jennifer Sally is going to spend 4 years on probation. But the 2 big pieces of this, those are felony charges she cannot shake. She can never supervise or care for children again in her entire life. And she will be on DCS's Severe Abuse Registry list for the rest of her life as well. The family says this was the best way for them to proceed forward and protect other children. This was the surefire way to do it. So I want to read the victim impact statement that Wayne Ritchie, the attorney for the family, shared with me today. On July 20th, 2018, our world was destroyed in one phone call. We had entrusted Jennifer Sally with the care of 2 of the most important things in our lives. Jennifer Sally failed our children that day. Her criminal neglect cost our children their lives and destroyed the family that we knew. Her guilt goes far beyond the immeasurable pain of losing the twins. The trail of destruction she left is unfathomable. From the horrors of arriving on the scene and seeing EMS frantically perform CPR on our babies, to our older sons walking into an ER room and watching their mother cradle their dead sister's body, those images do not disappear. The flashbacks and nightmares do not go away. There is no punishment for Jennifer Sally that could or would ever equal the suffering our family will endure for the rest of our lives due to her criminal conduct. No amount of jail time would turn back time. It wouldn't bring Alyssa back. It wouldn't bring Elijah back. It would not bring their laughs back. We have requested that the DA's office agree to this final and certain resolution because it will help protect other families. Miss Sally's acceptance of responsibility and guilty plea to the 2 permanent felony convictions as charged should deter others from engaging in this type of conduct in the future. Jennifer Sally remaining permanently on the DCS registry and the other conditions required by this resolution should also protect other children. They go on to say that they appreciate what the DA's office has done, what the sheriff's office has done, And they say, our love for Alyssa and Elijah will remain unbounded and unending. The true joy we experienced as their parents is impossible to put into words. We cannot explain to the court or to anyone the impact their loss will always have on our family. A lot of times when these cases reach a resolution, we spend a lot of time talking about the person who has been sentenced, the criminal in the cases. I think it's really important that we don't lose sight of the children that we lost here, the children who this family has lost. We, in some ways, owe it to them to honor their lives, honor the people that they were, and also honor the joy that they brought to their families. Right after the twins died, their parents, Amelia and Enrique, came into the studio, bravely talked about their children that they had lost with us, and shared amazing stories about their toddlers. And we want to make sure that you get a glimpse of Alyssa and Elijah, what kind of children they were, and how much happiness and joy and light they brought to their family. So we're going to share that story with you so you can see a little bit more about Alyssa and Elijah.
They were masters of mischief.
And this is an example of them being mischievous. There's a little box where their toys go, and
the toys are not in it.
no, they are.
They were partners in crime.
They climbed out of the crib together. They destroyed their room together, poured powder everywhere, diapers, wipes.
They very much understood each other and co-conspired in their shenanigans together.
And they were more than the tragedy that took them.
Alyssa was really Daddy's princess. Elijah was definitely more of Mama's boy.
Very much so.
They were both just perfect. Just perfect.
A perfect family torn apart on Friday.
It was the worst day that I will ever have in my life.
All I heard was, they're in the pool, get here as soon as you can.
I got there and I ran to the back and they were working on the babies on the ground.
I begged him, I said, bring my daughter back, please. And he didn't hesitate. He went right back in there and worked. And you could tell he
wanted to save her.
He did.
Nothing could save Alyssa or Elijah. Both drowned in their babysitter's Knoxville pool.
There's definite anger, but I'm trying to push that really far back because I don't want to be angry.
Were there any red flags for you guys ever?
I think as parents, you try to do the best possible to try to investigate where your kids are going to go to daycare.
It doesn't matter why. It doesn't matter what the reasons are, because none of it will change anything. No matter what reason this happened or that happened, nothing's going to bring my babies back.
This is all that Mom and Dad have left. Little moments caught on camera.
This probably made my day that day, more than likely. So that smile obviously is beautiful.
And stories that will never slip away.
She would crawl into my jewelry box and take every piece of jewelry out. And I mean, she'd have bracelets hanging out her arms. If you tried to give him a girl sippy cup, he
Did not have that.
No,
Did not.
He did not. He knew the difference between boys and girls right away.
Before Elijah passed away, his parents donated his organs and gave life to other children.
He's hopefully saved at least 3, if not 4 people's lives, more than some of us will ever do in our lives.
He is a hero.
He'll be our little hero.
They are a blessing.
They were definitely a light. They brought happiness everywhere.
They are more than just a tragedy.
It's my little girl again.
This has probably been the greatest 23 months of our lives, so it's been great.
That's just a little glimpse into how the toddlers were, how the twins were. And I think that some of those stories do a really good job of painting a picture of how much joy they brought to their families. As you can imagine, this probably would have been a really, really difficult trial to sit through for the family. That could possibly be one reason behind going this route instead with a plea agreement. the testimony that they would have to hear from first responders on the scene. As a mother myself, I just can't imagine how heartbreaking that would have had to have been to sit through it. Again, a lot of folks asking on our Facebook page, how is she only getting 4 years probation? The family's main goal here is to protect other children from Jennifer Sally, and the best way they felt like they could lock in those that guarantee is to lock in 2 caveats to her sentence: that she can never, ever, ever be in charge of supervising children ever again in her life, and that she will always be on a DCS registry for severe abuse. Jennifer Sally, for folks who aren't up to speed on her, we found out 2 months after the toddlers died that she had been investigated a couple months before their deaths for operating an illegal daycare. Essentially, what she was doing was watching way too many children at one time. Under state law, you are not allowed to watch more than 4 children who are not related to you without a state license. She did not have a state license. She was watching way more than 4 unrelated children at various times. DHS went to her house multiple times after getting a bunch of different complaints. At one point in time, DHS officials toured the house and saw pack-and-plays, child gates, high chairs, and beds, so they knew that there was a high volume of